When Pearl Harbor happened, us young guys wanted to do our part. And some of us were just out of high school. And I wanted to fly. So I went down to the recruiting office and applied for aviation cadet training. At that period of time, you had to have 2 years of college or pass a written exam and get 3 letters of recommendation. Then the recruiter said, well, you're going to have to let them draft you and take it from there. So this is what I did. First week was mostly physical, and then how to jump out of the airplane or mock-ups and so forth. And off the towers, 250-foot towers. It was on a Saturday morning, beautiful Saturday morning, March 24th, 1945. Climbed up into the plane, and of course it circled until he got the formations up. I could look out the window of the plane as we were flying, and I could see one C-46 on my right, and beyond that was a B-25 bomber escorting us. So as we crossed France and then got across the Rhine River, then the flak started coming up. And you could see, I could look out the window and see black puffs of smoke. As we got further into the Germany, we got the signal to jump. And we jumped out into a nightmare of blasting shells and all kinds of noise because the Germans knew we were coming. And the drop zone was dug in, German troops, right on the drop zone. And they had tanks on it, and they had field pieces. We missed our regiment, we missed our drop zone, and landed on the British glider drop area. So we were more or less getting the place secured for them. As I moved around, you're on your own, of course. We're taught to be that until you find somebody you know. So I checked out some of the houses, there's fighting going on. You could hear bullets and zimming by and see it kicking up dirt at your feet. In this one particular house I went into, just outside the house, there was one of our guys. He had laying prone on his back with his arms stretched out with a grenade still clutched in his hand and a bullet hole in his head. Somebody had shot him from the house. So I went in the house, and there was 2 dead Germans, and the farmer and his wife was there. So I went on and checked around the house, went upstairs, and I just on an impulse, I opened the closet door, and there was a nice big overcoat. Just on impulse, I put my hand in the pocket, and I pulled out a Nazi party button. Nobody would admit to being a Nazi, of course, but I just put that in my pocket as a souvenir. And that night, of course, there's firing going on all over the place. I'm carrying on these little handy talkie radios, and I'm hearing all this static, and believe it or not, I heard choir singing. Here we are into Germany, and I'm hearing a choir on this little radio that's being picked up. Somewhere in Germany, some choir is singing. And then in the distance, several miles, I saw a plume of fire going up. And it went up and up and up and up. And somebody said, well, what do you think that is? I said, probably one of the V2s. One of the last V2s heading for Belgium or England. I think the 3rd day, the British tanks got to us. Churchill tanks. The Coldstream Guards. So then we mounted on those tanks and started moving in further into Germany. we were heading for Munster, was a big industrial city. The Ling tank got hit with a 88. It exploded in flames, killed everybody in it, of course, and it burned all night. Of course, when that happened, we dove down off the side of the road into the field. We laid in the field in the time fire. The 88s were blasting over us, and then they opened up 20 millimeters, and we could lay there and watch 20 millimeters start at one end of the field, come over your head, and go across. And as you put your face down in the dirt, but you can still, with your eyes closed, you can still see the flashes of the 88s as they're. So we got to the edge of the field and started digging in. I got about a foot down there, and it started filling up with water. By this time, you're so tired, you just didn't care. You started, so what? We'll just lay on top of the ground and wait till morning comes. So the next morning, we captured the guys that had hit us. And that's when I got this one. Some of us were sent to, started taking some of us out of our division, 17th Airborne Division. A few went to the 82nd and became occupation forces in Berlin. And some of us, others, were sent to the 13th Airborne Division and to come back to France, to the United States, to be redeployed to the Pacific. Went back into France with the 13th Airborne Division and come back to the States. Midway on in the States, we heard that they had dropped the atomic bomb.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT.
In Nagasaki, Hiroshima. And that saved us because we figured if it hadn't dropped that, we'd have been gone over there and been probably slaughtered.
What motivated you guys to keep going, Bill? You're slow when you're wet, cold, and muddy. What motivated you to keep going?
We knew we had a job to do, and we just kept doing it. No matter how miserable, and pouring down the rain or firing and all that. Trying to sleep in maybe a foxhole one night and a barn aloft the next night, or on the side of a hill the next night. But you kept going. And you had to do it. So you did it.